Welcome to Phrasal Verb Practice. This is the place to learn real English, one phrasal verb at a time. My name is Marissa, and I'll walk you through this learning journey. Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing great. Today, we're diving into the phrasal verb come up and come up with. So let's start by talking about how we really use these two in daily English. They're connected, but they're not the same. First, when we say come up, we usually mean that something appears or happens. It's often unexpected. For example, a problem came up during the trip. Something important came up this morning. An issue came up at work. Now, another very common use of come up is in conversations. We use come up when a topic or a name is mentioned. For example, your name came up in the meeting. That topic came up again last night. The question came up during class. We also use come up when we talk about time. So this is about events getting closer. For example, the deadline is coming up soon. My birthday is coming up next week. A big exam is coming up. Now here's where people often get confused. Come up with is a different phrasal verb. When we say come up with, we're talking about creating something, an idea, a plan, a solution. For example, she came up with a great idea. We need to come up with a solution. He came up with an answer quickly. So here's the key point. Come up means something appears or happens. Come up with means someone creates or proposes something. Let's quickly connect these to other languages. In Spanish, come up is often surgir or aparecer, and come up with is idear. In French, it's apparaître and trouver. In Portuguese, surgir and criar. In Italian, emergere and trovare. In German, auftauchen and sich ausdenken. In Japanese, detekuru for come up and omoitsuku for come up with. And in Chinese, juxian for come up and xiangchu for come up with. So when do people usually use these? People use come up when something unexpected happens, when a topic is mentioned, or when an event is getting closer. People use come up with when they need ideas, plans, or solutions. Let's review with a few clear examples. A problem came up during the meeting. Her name came up in the discussion. The deadline is coming up fast. She came up with a creative idea. We came up with a better plan. Now let's talk briefly about grammar. Come up is inseparable. Nothing goes between come and up. So we say, an issue came up. Come up with is also inseparable, but it always needs an object. So we say, she came up with an idea. And with pronouns, nothing goes in the middle. We say, she came up with it, not she came it up with. Common structures. Come up in, context. Come up, time expression. Come up with, idea, plan, solution. Now it's time to practice. First, you'll hear a short text from everyday life. Then, you'll hear another text in a professional or office setting. Are you ready? Let's start. I woke up earlier than usual because something came up in my mind before my alarm went off. It wasn't anything serious, just a reminder about plans I'd forgotten. While making coffee, another thought came up, and suddenly my simple morning felt a little busy. At breakfast, my partner asked what we were doing over the weekend. We hadn't planned anything, so we tried to come up with an idea while eating. At first, nothing good came up. We were both tired and distracted. Then my phone buzzed and a message from my sister came up on the screen, asking if we wanted to visit her. That gave us something to work with. We started to come up with a loose plan. Nothing too strict, just a drive, lunch together, and maybe a walk. As we talked, another small issue came up. The car needed gas, and we had errands to run first. Still, it felt manageable. Later in the day, I met a friend for a quick coffee. While we were talking, an old story came up, and we laughed about how much things had changed. She mentioned she was feeling stuck lately and couldn't come up with a solution. I didn't have advice ready, but I listened. Sometimes that's enough when problems come up. In the afternoon, the weather changed and new plans came up. Rain started suddenly, so our walk idea didn't make sense anymore. We had to come up with something indoors. A movie night sounded perfect. That evening, while setting things up, a small disagreement came up about what to watch. Instead of letting it grow, we quickly came up with a simple rule. Each person picks half the movie. By the end of the day, I noticed how natural it all felt. Problems came up, ideas came up, and little by little, we came up with answers. Not perfect ones, just good enough for real life. Great, that was the first text. How many times did you hear the phrasal verb of the day? Now let's move on to the second text. The morning started with a short team meeting to review priorities. As we went through the agenda, a scheduling issue came up that no one had flagged before. It wasn't a big problem, but it meant we had to adjust a few tasks. While we were talking it through, another question came up about who would handle client communication that week. After the meeting, I sat down to work on a report, but a new request came up in my inbox. It was from a colleague asking for quick input before sending something out. I replied and said we could talk later if anything else came up. That kind of flexibility usually helps the day run more smoothly. Around midday, our manager called a quick huddle. A client concern had come up overnight, and we needed to respond fast. We shared what we knew, and then we worked together to come up with a clear plan. Nothing complicated, just something realistic that everyone could support. As we discussed next steps, a few smaller details came up, like timelines and responsibilities. One teammate suggested we keep things simple and only deal with what had already come up, instead of guessing future issues. That helped keep the conversation focused. In the afternoon, I joined a call with another department. During the call, a technical limitation came up that explained some delays we'd been seeing. Once that was clear, it was easier to come up with a solution that worked for both teams. Later, while reviewing emails, another follow-up question came up from the client. This time, we were ready. We already had an answer because we'd come up with it earlier in the day. I sent the response and felt confident about it. Before logging off, I reviewed my notes. A lot had come up during the day, but none of it felt overwhelming. When issues come up, work gets easier when people talk openly and take the time to come up with answers together. Great, that was the second text, and that's all for today. Thank you so much for following this channel, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.